Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com, click on the merchandise tab, and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
Small hollow in North Carolina. There have been several Bigfoot sightings.
Hunters may need to be on the lookout for something other than deer when they hit the woods this week.
He hadn't been spotted recently, but according to these pictures, the legendary Mothman is back.
The number of UFO sightings is soaring tenfold over the past 25 years.
Now, she's not talking about people. She is talking about ghosts hanging around what some say is a real-life haunted house.
You're listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy on Paratalkradio.com, a member of the WLFE digital broadcast family. Paratalk Radio is your one-stop for all things paranormal, the unknown, and the supernatural. Join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for discussions and guests on topics such as ghosts, hauntings, Bigfoot, UFOs, and more. This broadcast is rated M for mature and is intended for listeners over 16. The topics, views, and opinions expressed on our show may not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Paratalk Radio, our hosts, or our sponsors. Now, live from J. Wolf Production Studio in Ontario, New York, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
When the hell?
Hi, everybody.
What'd you do over there?
Guys, we're at the studio, and it's been freaking forever since we've been at the studio, and we totally, I got verklempt here for a second. I have no idea.
He didn't remember what he was doing. That's what
Aliens
it was.
took over my mind for a small second.
For a bleep?
Okay,
so I just wanted to show you guys my mask because I'm taking it off now.
Yep, me too. All right, we're done.
Yay!
We're going to be sick together if we're going to be sick.
Well, Cindy can't get sick because
I know.
Cindy,
you can't take the shot.
Cindy can't have any antibiotics because she's allergic to them all.
No, so
doesn't matter. It's virus. Antibiotics aren't going to help you anyway.
That's what they
right.
give you, though.
Guys, you are actually hearing Big John. You guys have not heard Big John.
No way.
There's Invisible John. I love you. I missed you so very much.
All right, so now that we've kind of messed up the whole show because we wanted to be here and be professional. Hey, one time out of many, who cares? All right, so let's get to saying hello to everybody. Mr. Robert White is in the house.
In the house.
Mr. Robert White from Australia. Nice
Australia.
To see you. Got the shrimp on the barbie. And
let's see how being in the house is relative since we're in the studio.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Well, they're in their houses. Does that count?
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
And
that's
then we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Rob and Joan Carter.
Hello, Carters.
From Meet the Author. They are a WLFE show.
Yes.
And then we're going down to Farmer Damon Bard.
Hey, Ray.
How are you? Look at
Bayard.
We got crickets for Farmer. I'm sorry,
Get
Farmer.
it, Farmer Crickets.
Sorry.
Outside. That was cute.
Sorry about the crickets. We have nothing to do with this. We actually have production here tonight. And
We
they're in control.
We have studio.
Yeah. Rutro, says Barry Martz.
Hi, Barry. I've missed you guys from here. I know you're with us at our homes.
Yep, our remotes.
Our remotes.
All right. Thanks, John.
Hi, Patricia. Hi, Dom.
Oh, where are we?
Keep going.
Keep going. Joe Chase. Hello,
Hi,
Joe.
Joe. How are ya? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be
everybody
here.
else that we can't see.
I know. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, that's be great. So, guys, we have a great show for you. I'm going to show you. I have been reading this book for a little over about a month now, and it's called Alien Abduction: The Control Factor.
He's still on page 6.
I'm not on page 6. It was written.
He's on page 6. What?
It was written by Jim Bouke. I'm going to say that's how his last name goes.
Burke?
Yep. And then Robert.
Is there an R in there? Because there's no R there.
Oh, I have no. And then
Bouke?
Robert Long.
Bouke?
There is no R. It's Bouck.
Okay, so what I say, Boyke or Boy?
All right, so
I'm sorry, Jim.
Bork, something like that. Burke, could be Burke.
No, because there would be an R.
No R.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm going to tell you guys that I have gotten up to where
maybe Bouke.
I have gotten to page 97, which is well over half the book done.
Yes, he's almost.
And I have a lot of things highlighted.
So, have you had fun reading it?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Because it looks
there is
fascinating.
some stuff in here that.
Can I read it when you're done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yay!
There's some stuff in here that's definitely going to wake you up, guys.
Oh shoot!
I mean, I really enjoyed the book so far.
Yes. No, not Rochester, but Ontario.
We're in Ontario, New York.
Oh, Damon is he just finished planting his potatoes.
Nice.
He's doing his garden now. And
Cindy, you're interrupting.
Sorry. I just was reading.
Okay. TW, tell us about the book.
Stay on topic. All right. So, So
you're
the
talking ADD here.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
True.
So the book you can find pretty much on Amazon and everything else. Normally where you find your books. But again, it's Alien Abduction.
It's Jim and Robert Long, Bob Long.
Right. And the foreword was written by somebody we've interviewed, Miss Kathleen Martin.
Oh.
And she is an amazing researcher herself. And she does a lot of things along with that. And when I found out that she actually wrote the foreword on this, I'm like, yeah, that just puts another cap in the feather. So,
damn you.
Another feather in the cap.
So damn cool.
Oh my God.
I'm here to help you and to
stay on topic. Yeah.
No.
I do that for you.
Correct you.
Yes. And I try to keep you on
try
topic.
to keep me on topic. I correct you.
Yeah. And Bob's back there. He's watching us going, what did I get myself into?
Okay.
That's what he's saying. He knows he is. All right. So you guys know what we do here.
You know what we do.
You know that we basically tell you about the authors, and Jim is going to be a little late, but he will be here.
Yes.
But Bob is here in the green room right now. So basically, And we kind of switched roles a little bit here because we're at the studio, so that's kind of cool.
We're switch hitters.
So for apparently right now.
Apparently we are.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Cindy. I'm gonna let Cindy read you the bio that we have here on the gentleman that sent them to us, and so
It's only because he doesn't have his glasses.
I don't have my glasses, so yes, that's true. So
and it's closer to me.
all right. So you go for it, Cindy.
Okay.
So this is who we have tonight on the show.
Jim Bouke, researching and investigating UFOs for over 50 years. He joined MUFON in 1992 as a field investigator and became New York State State Director in 1999. He has written 3 UFO books. 2 of them have been published, and the third is with the publisher. He was a MUFON dispatcher for over a year. To his recollection, he has only seen 1 UFO. As for Bob Long, Robert David Long is a researcher in the field of alien abduction. Starting as an independent researcher in the 80s, joined the ranks of the MUFON UFO Network in the 90s, as well as the Intruders Foundation under Budd Hopkins, and served as its liaison to MUFON. He became MUFON's Assistant State Director for the state of New York for a decade that culminated. Holy shoot balls. Okay.
And I think I do it bad.
Decade that culminated in the Master of Ceremonies for the 2002 International MUFON Symposium in Rochester, New York.
Rochester.
Rochester.
Yes, that's where we are from. Well, Cindy's basically. Well, we're all.
I was born in Rochester.
You were born in Rochester?
I was born in Rochester.
Well, we happen to have one of those gentlemen. I'm trying to get my watch party started. One of the gentlemen in the back room at this moment. Mr. Bob Long, and we are going to be bringing him right in right now.
Hi, Bri.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Bob.
Good evening.
Hi, Bri, and hi, Tom Nally.
So, are you ready for some kookiness with 2 kooky paranormal investigators?
We're so happy to be together, boy. You're going to have a treat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't.
I'm getting that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you took your Dramamine.
Yes.
It has been a long time since we've sat down to do this.
Yes,
together.
it has. It has really been a long time.
So I talked to Cindy and we said, hey, do you want to go to the studio? She said, can we go to the studio? And basically I reached out to the boss and we said, yep, let's go. And we're here.
Oh, let's see. What does Roger say? He says, Ted, I listened to the radio show over the weekend, that one on the AM radio 1 to 5.
Yeah, that's
oh my gosh, the one guy died and then the other guy, Neary.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. So
Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
Yes, I did it.
I actually was on
They
Coast to Coast
interviewed the man you made Godzilla versus King Kong new movie.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, okay.
Cool.
So it was the Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yes.
Director, probably.
Yeah, he was an American director, I believe, but yeah.
That's cool.
All right, so let's get back on topic here. So
Hi,
thank
Jason
you, everybody,
Bergeron.
for popping in here. Jason Bergeron. Hey, buddy. He used to be my best friend.
He used to be?
Used to be. We haven't seen each other a very long time.
Awesome. Well, I'm so thankful that you're here, Jason.
All right, so Bob, let's get into this because I got to tell you, when I started your book, I was doubtful because that's the type of person I am. If I was going to enjoy the book.
Hi, Gene.
And wham! Right in the beginning, you guys got me, and so basically, I highlighted some stuff in the book that I'd like to talk about tonight. What do you think?
Absolutely.
You got him hooked.
Got me hooked, buddy. Got me hooked.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys.
Oh, look, he has a plan behind him too.
Oh, ADD, definitely ADD.
I just saw it. But his mic.
I'm sorry, Bob. She's just gonna keep looking at stuff behind you and mentioning it from time to time.
I have a lot of plants.
Do you?
That's
You're a plant
awesome.
person?
These are.
I have a degree in horticulture too.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So one of the first things that I like about this book is right in the beginning. He's got they have a little thing in here and it says, "Don't be a victim or a pawn. Learn the aliens' ropes and then resist." So it's it caught me off guard at first. I'm like, well,
that's cool.
You know, knowing where I come from, being on the skeptical side of everything, I'm like, okay, so these guys truly believe in what they're talking about. So for me to get in depth with this was going to be fun. I was like, okay, put on the challenge cap and let's go. You know, so, but the more I got into it, Bob, I'm going to be honest with you, I enjoy it more and more every time I get into it.
It was supposed to be educational.
Well, it is.
Yeah, it's.
I learned.
We tried to approach it from perspective of someone who's trying to learn about the subject, who hopefully is skeptical, and will take a look at what we have to offer and use their own thought process to come up to their own conclusion.
I mean, you guys have done some really, really in-depth research. I mean, some of this stuff is amazing.
Been doing it for years.
Yeah. Now, you were part of MUFON too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you were the one out of Rochester.
No. Jim Bouke is out of Albany. I'm out of Reading Center, New York, which is down along the Pennsylvania border.
Oh wow!
But we wanted to have it in a larger city, so we had the symposium in 2002 in Rochester.
Yeah, I mean it is a bigger city, that's for sure. You know, one of the things that I really enjoyed about this was you guys did the research on the very first reported alien abduction, and you brought forth some of the stuff that some of us don't know. I mean, when you hear the stories and you're like, when somebody tells you about a alien abduction or something like that, you're normally going, okay, you know, to me, when I first thought of it, I'm like, okay, alien abduction. So obviously they saw the lights or the UFO. Probably the car stopped and wouldn't run anymore. You know, stuff like that. And maybe it's because
we've heard or
because
Hollywood has told us.
Yeah, because a lot of that stuff, like with what was it? The Third Kind.
Yes, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
When the main character
was there first or second?
I don't think there was, but anyways, smart ass. Bob's like, no. But anyway,
I'm just listening.
There you go. They also said
and the comic relief also.
The people came off because of the lights and everything. They had a tan. You know, there was
right. Because of the yeah,
because of the heat and the light.
But the radiation.
Right.
John, are you so proud of me that I knew that?
I am.
Thank you.
That's good. So, do you want me to try and read this, or are you going to read it?
Do you want me to read it? You
can't.
It's
up to you.
I
here's my problem, Bob. Unless I'm reading alone, I don't care how I talk and say the words. But with her, see, my tongue gets in front of my teeth, and I can never see what I'm saying.
He's so funny. So, this is the first thing that abductions start.
Right. This is what I think is important.
Chapter 4.
Yes. Yes.
The first reported case of alien abduction was that of Antonio Vilas Boas in Brazil. Boas was a Brazilian farmer who claimed to have been abducted by extraterrestrials in 1957 while working on a farm. The 23-year-old farmer was working at night to avoid high daily temperatures. On October 16, 1957, he saw what he described as a red star in the sky. He watched as the star approached his position, increasing in size until it became recognizable as a roughly circular-shaped aerial craft with red lights and a rotating cupola on top. The craft landed in the field on 3 extended legs. At that point, Boas attempted to leave the scene on his tractor, but when its lights and engines died after traveling only a very short distance, he began running on foot. Hell yeah, I'd be out of there. However, he was grabbed by a 5-foot-tall humanoid who was wearing gray coveralls and what Boas determined was a space helmet. The entity's eyes were small and blue, and instead of some type of speech, it made a barking sound or yelps like an animal. 3 similar beings then joined in dragging him inside their craft.
So basically,
that's crazy.
Some of that is
blue
like
eyes. That's crazy. Oh my God, am I descended from aliens?
Well, I think we all are in some sense, but I mean, we all have alien DNA. But that's, I mean, so what I want to do is, because you read that for me, thank you.
You're welcome.
To bring this up to Bob and the research. Where does this information come from? First off, especially if this is the first reported.
Brazil?
Well, no, but how did you guys get a hold of this as the first reported? Is this something that was documented somewhere?
Yes, yes. MUFON has been in the business of documenting all kinds of UFO sightings and abduction reports since '68, and in a very official capacity. And they've had hundreds of individuals that have documented this stuff from all over the globe. At one point in time, and I don't know what the number is now, but at one point in time, MUFON had over 5,000 members worldwide.
Wow.
And most of them were you start off as an investigator. So you had a lot of people, talking to witnesses in other countries, looking for newspaper documentation and trying to back up these stories. Boas is one of the first that kind of appeared on the scene. I'm sure there's lots of others that never got told. It's when you have an abduction case, someone has an experience like that, they're not generally interested in telling anybody about it because they're feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling like no one's going to believe them, and they'll probably be ridiculed because of it. So you don't always get, if someone has an experience, you don't always get the story.
Wow.
And that was one of them. That it being in 1957, it wasn't until Betty Hill's story broke.
Benny and Barney.
Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Barney.
Betty and Barney Hill.
Mhm.
That's when it really broke here, and more people. Hey, there's Jim.
Okay, tell us how to pronounce your last name, Jim.
Hi there.
Hi. Wait, what did he say?
He was saying, sorry, Mom.
Oh.
So can you hear everybody okay?
Yes.
Can you tell us how to pronounce your last name?
Bouke.
I was
Bouke.
right. Bouke.
No R.
Right.
So we to catch Jim up, we've been talking about the first reported case on alien abduction.
I've been listening.
Chapter 4.
Yeah, so that was the first one we've been talking with. Now, some of the things that I'm going to pull out of this real quick are some things that I had previously mentioned. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go back to Bob. When you said this was the first reported, I look at some of the older stuff written on cave walls, and
right.
Egypt too. I mean, they all thought that they
Sure.
saw aliens or their ships and stuff. So we do know, just basically, if you're in this field in any way, shape, or form, that this stuff goes way beyond 1957.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
If you don't, then
Do 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 do.
get a book and start reading. The things that did get
Or
me,
pick
though,
up some papyrus.
so we were talking about the
dark side of the
Thanks, John. Production is in here. He may do some stuff from time to time, but typical thing. The tractor stopped. Remember, I mentioned that in the beginning. The engine cuts. The vehicle stops. The ship, the lights. Typical from what that I was saying.
A description of the vehicle.
Right.
Correct.
Now 5 foot. I think 5 foot. It's the first time I've ever heard that there was an actual height of something like that, because aren't the grays like short anyways?
Yeah, they're shorter.
It depends.
No, because
really?
there are some that are tall and thin, and then some that are shorter, more
All
my
right,
size.
so we'll let that go. But what really got me was what you picked out: blue eyes. I mean,
that's what was reported.
I mean,
I think
you don't see that in these movies, and you don't see that in other
big
reports.
Big black eyes, right?
Yeah, well, they're still making the little aliens green too, and they're not. So
I'm not green.
If we take a look at just the people of this world, and so many people look different,
right?
And there's no reason to believe that all the different species that visit us won't look different as well. The if you've ever seen some of the pictures from the Hubble telescope of deep space, they have a deep space shot that has thousands and thousands of galaxies, not solar systems, galaxies that have millions of planets in each one.
Oh, sorry.
So
for us, first off, sorry to interrupt, Jim, or Bob, but for us to think that there's no other description of type alien out there. I mean, we are one little universe. We're only one planet in this universe. I mean,
it would be ridiculous for us to believe that there's nothing.
Arrogant.
Right.
Arrogance.
Very arrogant.
Right.
Yeah.
So I actually have Farmer Damon Baird who asked, Hills, weren't they from Wisconsin?
No, they were from New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I wasn't certain, so I couldn't answer it.
Cool. Now the other thing was the barking.
That got
that was
me
the other
too.
thing, was barking.
Like animal sound.
Right.
Kind of things.
Because I think what we've learned so far through other stories is that it's all
telepathic.
Right. You'll get particular cases from time to time that don't fit the typical abduction or contact scenario. Different types of beings, and the barking is certainly a very unusual one. You don't see that hardly anywhere. I think that was probably the first occurrence, and I don't know if Boas was so excited, maybe he wasn't even clear-headed enough, and it sounded like barking. It could have been something else.
Right.
I don't know.
Probably was only what his mind could interpret it as, right? And I don't think so.
You find that a lot when someone is presented with a highly strange situation.
Right.
That sometimes their mind will take over. I remember a story Budd Hopkins told me years ago. He said this one abductee he was working with. He was driving down this road, and there was a cow running along next to his car on the other side of the fence, and it was pacing the car. I don't know how fast the car was going, but I assume it was typical dirt road speed. And the cow started talking to him, and of course it wasn't a cow talking to him, but that was the screen memory that he presented. That's what he saw in his head. Other ones are owls. I remember one fellow telling me he was driving down the road at night, and he pulled off the road to look at this owl that was standing on the side of the road. I said, "How big was the owl?" He goes, "Oh, it's about 3.5 feet tall."
Big owl.
That's kind of a big owl.
That's a big owl.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it wasn't an owl. It was either his mind,
right? I was going to say
trying to make it into something that was less frightening, or it was a screen memory. He was being made to see it in that aspect.
Isn't it called
matrix things are a part of pareidolia? Basically, we see what we want to see because our mind
what I want to see.
The mind only takes what it knows, so it creates something that
But that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It makes
sometimes it's not our mind that's making the cause and the effect. It's what they're putting in to our mind.
I mean, think of it this way. So I'm a psychic medium, and I need to understand it's coming to me. I may not have understood it that way, but because that's how I'm seeing it,
the interpretation of it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's what they're making them see. Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I get that.
And that's what I was saying about the barking or the animalistic sounds as well, because he may not have been able to understand it as anything else. And if he's only hearing it in his mind, he may not be used to that. So in order for his mind to accept it, he has to put it to something that he understands.
And in this field, knowing that we've been doing research for 36 years here forever, and we also know that when sound audibles come into play, sometimes it's either too fast or too slow. So if you were actually to record it and play it at a different speed, sometimes you can figure out what it's actually saying.
Because a high-pitched frequency can definitely
Exactly.
be
So
something
sometimes there's a lot of
else.
different stuff that comes into play. Not saying that's the case here, but just, you know.
But we're just trying to work out the semantics, right?
It's what I guess. Yeah. I guess so.
Because the things that, I mean, because if we're questioning these things as you're reading.
But we should.
Right. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But some people may not understand, well, how could he possibly hear it or see it that way, right? Or understand it that way.
So
whereas I can totally get it that way.
Right. So I want to come back down to this.
Do you want me to read again?
I can do this part, I think. I think I'm able to read English. Let me see. It says here, once dragged inside the craft, he was stripped of his clothes and covered from head to toe with a strange gel.
Ew.
So there's been quite a few movies out there about UFO abduction that actually shows a slime of some type or whatever. So that's kind of a typical.
No, it isn't.
It's not?
It's not.
Really?
No, it's not.
Goop.
You can thank Hollywood for creating that. No, you don't wake up in a cocoon or a cell covered with slime.
Okay.
So doesn't happen.
Alien movies and stuff with all that slime. It's like
that's Hollywood taking a little creative license.
Right. Okay.
Right. Robert. Absolutely.
Ask Travis Walton.
Yeah. Well, we want to actually. We would love to interview him.
Yes.
It's the string. Which one might think would be a disinfectant in an effort to not transmit any earthly diseases to the craft's occupant. He was then led into a large semicircular room. In this room, the entity took samples of blood from his chin, which to me is weird from his chin, but okay. After this, he was taken to the third room and left alone for what seemed like half of an hour, just like any typical doctor's office. Take a sample, then hurry up and wait. I love that, guys. You guys have a lot of little humor things going through this whole book, and I freaking loved it. I don't know whose idea it was, but I loved it.
Hurry up and wait. That's fantastic.
During this time, some kind of gas was pumped into the room that made him violently ill. This might have been some type of attempt to sterilize his lungs so that he wouldn't breathe out something like the common cold bug and infect them, or maybe it was a sedative or to sedate him for whatever was coming next. So now, is this stuff like when you
we're assuming that you have seen a lot of MUFON reports, right? We're assuming that you guys have seen plenty of reports, and that when you're writing this, you have a lot of stuff to go off of and compare to other reports.
So I'm looking, like when we do with our paranormal stuff, we're looking at an average. So on average, this is how many,
The Antonio Villalobos case is not average. It just happened to be the first that got reported and investigated, but it is definitely not the average.
So do you think that it could have been hallucinogenic drugs? Or do you believe this report?
I have no reason not to believe the report.
Yeah.
It's from what people reported of individuals who knew him personally. This was he wasn't of the type of individual that was going to make a story up and try to fool people. He was very down to earth. It would have been highly out of character.
Okay.
An awful lot of cases have also been different than the majority. Every now and then, somebody experiences something different.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
can I ask? Did he not live long after this? Did he take his own life?
No, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. No.
I don't think so either. To be honest,
he lived quite a few years later.
Yeah,
I think he became a lawyer.
What?
Yeah. He became a lawyer.
You know what? We do have a question here, and I know it's stepping ahead here, but Bob and Joan Carter were asking, are all contacts negative? How would you rate that?
No. And you get this. I've run into this a few times where people will have contact and they look at it as being very positive, and that's fine. And just because there are different types of species out there that are creating contact with us, you're going to have different outcomes.
Right.
Generally speaking, the majority of the abduction cases that are filed and that I've worked on has to do with the grays. And most people that I talk to would prefer they didn't have them.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
you know, it's not a pleasant experience. I've seen people, you know, I've seen people that were under hypnosis and just reliving the experience and just horrified all over again by it. So, and to see that, you know, there are other people that that choose to turn it into a positive experience, and maybe it is for some, but vast majority of the people that I have personally worked with, it was not a pleasant experience at all.
Right.
You got to remember also that when this happens, it's without your permission.
Right.
So already you've got your defenses up and you're looking for a way to get out of it.
Absolutely.
Now, isn't there at some point those, I believe I read it in your book that some do give permission?
Yes. They seem to enjoy it. They look forward to it.
Yep, we've
Not
known
all,
people like that.
But there are some.
So they're weird like us.
Some of them actually even work with them.
What?
Wow.
Like,
So,
do they?
so to
Tell them,
speak,
Bob?
as again, everybody's experience is what they make it, and some people choose to accept the experience and try to make it as positive as they can. Some individuals have actually tried to work with the Greys and help them as sort of a liaison. We knew one. Jim and I knew one fellow. We referred to him as the bus driver. He'd been abducted his entire life, and he had accepted the whole situation. And they actually trained him on how to fly one of the smaller craft that would go around and pick up other people. And he would help in the abduction process, feeling that them seeing a bunch of little Greys and a human in the process might make it a little bit more of a positive experience.
So that kind of brings me back to with the permission and some people that actually enjoy it. Like, we do know people that have claimed to have been involved. Cookie Stringfellow.
Oh yes, I know Cookie.
The cookster.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call her.
Yeah.
The cookster.
There are things like this. I'm taking this out of your book. For years now, since the 1950s, abductions reports filtered in where semen and ovum samples were being taken. Yep, ovum samples were being taken, often from traumatic results, to the abductee. To me, I'm curious. I mean, to me, as in, you know, being taken without permission, it kind of brings me back to a couple things early on in when the whites came into the Indians, and, you know, the Indians kidnapped a white and took him in, you know, and they survived and became a part of their tribe. It wasn't something that the whites wanted, or, you know, whether it be a child or a woman or whatever, but they eventually kind of became familiar with it and stayed. I'm wondering if that's maybe a feeling of some of these people that are abducted. Maybe after a point of being abducted so many times, they just feel, okay, whatever. Now I can become a part of this, or now I am a part of this, or maybe they're looking at it as this is important. So I'm creating something that, you know, I'm a liaison. I'm yes, I may be a test subject, but I'm doing something to further our communication.
Right. I think we mentioned in the book, and I'm going to ask Bob because the term actually has slipped my mind now.
Very.
But it's used when you are kidnapped and you've been with the abductors for a long time, What am I thinking, Bob? It happened to.
You're thinking of yeah, yes, the syndrome. It's a type of a syndrome. It's
the one that Patty Hearst went through.
Stockholm syndrome. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, where you start associating with your abductors.
Yeah.
And to a certain situation, I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Many abductees who are lifelong abductees will have one particular gray that is always there during their abduction, and they get to know that one particular gray, even though they all look the same. You get a particular feeling and a particular connection against one in particular, and that one is always there, sort of like your handler, to make you feel at ease and always keep you under control.
He's even referred to by name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm coming back to the one part I was reading about semen being taken and stuff like that.
Yes.
Eggs and because of crossbreeding and stuff like that. But we have heard specifically through some abductees that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, I don't know.
That seems to be the normal. Starting with Betty and Barney Hill, that happened to Barney, and it was the one thing that he didn't tell the investigators originally. He felt that he was highly embarrassed by it, and when it did come out during hypnotic regression, they chose to leave it out of the book just because it was so wild and crazy. They thought it would detract from the story itself. But it has happened, and it's a very, very common occurrence.
As you get older, you're not able to do the things that you had been able to do.
That's a good way to put it.
A woman can no longer.
You're no longer fertile.
Birth. Right.
Are you kidding me?
Oh.
No, absolutely not.
Is that because of the procedure?
No.
As you take particularly a woman as she gets older, she produces less eggs, and eventually she goes through menopause. And at that point, if your primary goal is the harvest,
you're going to have. We are born with all the eggs that we're going to have. As we age, it comes down to our follicle stimulating hormone. If the FSH drops, or excuse me, if it raises, then you can't produce children anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's a specific hormone. And yes, we have all the eggs we're ever going to have at birth. However, if they're taken from us, we can't produce either.
Okay. All right. So
do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I get
because
that.
Obviously, if they're that advanced, they have the necessary means to create the lab, to create the hormones, to create the other things that they'll find and need necessary to create that child, right?
Right.
In the book, there was an instance that we wrote where this one woman had a dream. She thought it was a dream that she was abducted by a gray being. And it took her out into a forest or a wooded area. She was barefoot and she could feel the stones and the branches and stuff on her feet. They got to the UFO and a lizard type being came out.
Reptilian.
And reprimanded the gray for bringing her. And the gray wanted to know why, what's wrong. And the lizard said, because she can no longer give birth.
Right. That's exactly what Nikki had said in here as well. If a female is no longer fertile or has a hysterectomy, you're no longer viable for breeding, or rather for carrying their ET babies.
So you're no purpose to them.
Right.
So,
that should generate a couple questions.
Well, that will, but that also brings up to me just so.
That makes it. That says to me, "Holy shit balls! What the f?"
Well, it also kind of gives me now I'm thinking military rank because
Listen,
I'm thinking, hey, Greys are down here, reptilians are a step above them. What's a step above that?
Okay, so one of the things that we discussed with somebody else, if you remember, I think
Refresh my memory.
One of the last times we were here in studio, we had done a UFO person.
Okay.
What we had talked about, it might have even been the last time we were here because we had come in between.
Mm-hmm.
We had spoken to this gentleman and we were talking about aliens and reproduction, and one of the things that they do is human women would carry an alien child much shorter duration than we as human women would. But they were also discussing that it may seem like you had your period and then you went a little longer than not having your period, right? So you just went over a little bit. And then it's possible that you already have given birth to that baby. Have you heard that, Jim?
Yes. And a lot of times the woman would be abducted and brought back to that infant or that baby. And they would say, hug the baby, touch the baby, let the baby know that, you are the mother. And it's a bonding. It's sort of with the hybrid of making the baby know that it is either part alien and part human, or just trying to learn what kind of what kind of manners in which the being is going to grow up in. It's most likely going to live here on the earth with you and me and everybody else, going to look like us, but will have the abilities of both.
What about that? What about women that? There you are, Bob.
None of those abductions are going to happen.
Yeah.
What about women that feel like they? So I'll explain something. So there's been things that happen where women say, okay, well, I haven't had I had a period and then I didn't have it seems like I should have had my period, but I just went a little longer. Right. So I went over a little bit, but I'm not pregnant. But afterwards, so this is probably weird and strange to you guys because you may not understand it. But as a woman who has given birth, I understand it. So the feeling was all of a sudden they're getting their period and it's a sweet smell period. And it's when you give birth to a baby, your period is not the same. Once you give birth, it's a very sweet smell. It's a very recognizable scent. And it is pregnancy, period. Like when you have a child, the blood that comes from you is now a different scent. So what would you say to those women that feel that they weren't told that they were pregnant, but kept having all these dreams that they were pregnant? They kept having went from no pregnancy to being very pregnant in these dreams to then only missing their period for a short amount of time and then having this strange occurrence where it smells as if they just had a baby. But there's no baby there.
Well, that would be that whole time period that they were. Would it be on board where these dreams were actually true, but they came back to them as dreams instead of being reality? So they would have this child,
But I'm curious if they've had any of these kind of reportings.
Oh,
what has been reported is typically a woman who is fertile. Okay, she is abducted. Eggs are harvested. Okay, those eggs are fertilized, and the woman is reabducted, and she is implanted with a hybrid type fetus. That fetus, she carries it for a short period of time. She will be pregnant. She will feel pregnant. They've had positive pregnancy tests, and then she is later abducted, and the fetus is taken. And they've coined the phrase "missing fetus syndrome" out of this. And the medical professionals say, "Oh, that something was wrong, and it was just reabsorbed into the body." And yet, the woman has quite often some memory of being abducted. And later on in life, she will be reabducted again. She will be shown a small hybrid fetus, and she will be encouraged to cuddle it, to hold it. And they are told that they are encouraged to touch these children, and because it will somehow save their life, or that's what they are told.
Wow.
Interesting.
Nikki's got one down here. She says, I was taken last year. Yeah, if you want to pop that up there. I was taken last year because one of my male adult children I had was damaged somehow. They bled me because they need the original mother's blood for him to survive, and I still don't understand that one. Would you guys have any?
That's new to me.
There's probably some kind of a genetic glitch that they don't have a workaround for, and required more of her blood to possibly help. It's the
kind of like a blood transfusion. I mean, we ourselves, right?
Right. We don't know a whole lot about the children, just what the abductees are shown. We don't know the life expectancy. We know they tend to grow pretty fast, and they mature very quickly. And they are able to communicate through their mind and not verbally. So, but other than that, we don't know a whole lot about what the abductee children do in their downtime when they're not being visited by their mother.
We realize that you're not experts. We realize that you don't know what these aliens are thinking. We realize that you have no real, data from this other than researching the incidences.
Just what people tell us.
Right. So I want to read this real quick. It says the abductions became personally evasive. Women would be placed on a table, and a very long needle would be placed into them to extract an egg. Sometimes mock sexual interludes were contrived to express semen from men. Some abductees were forced to have sexual relations with other abductees while aboard the craft, usually with a group of grays observing and collecting samples. Since these beings are stealing our genetic material without our consent, it stands to reason that they continue to follow the genetic lines they need or prefer, opening to much more speculation as to why they're collecting it. Now, this is something that we've heard in one way, shape, or another.
Right.
This is not uncommon knowledge for most of us.
It's still terrifying every time
especially if you're a female.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, okay, so you're going to put me in a human aquarium and I'm going to have sex with all these people and you're going to stand there and watch with popcorn. Okay. Some of us would like that.
Daddy, you could have a baby out
I
there.
could have a baby.
Oh my gosh.
But no, that's a joke. But of course, that would be something that's like PTSD in a bottle just waiting to happen.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, these women have got to have some type of psychological
well, there's
women and men.
Yes, they don't. There are. So I do regression work. I do hypnosis regression work, and I had a specific woman come to me and said, "Okay, I'm missing time in 1969, 1968, my boyfriend at the time, who became my husband, we were coming back from Buffalo to Rochester, right on I-90. We know exactly where we were. And all of a sudden, we lose time. We find ourselves pulled off the side of the road farther down where we were. And both of us have this lapse of time. We don't remember anything, but I came away with this, and she pulls her hair back and she has these 2 marks on her forehead here.
Mm-hmm.
And she still has them to this day. And she said, all I want to know is that I'm not crazy. And that if something happened, I don't want to know. I just want to know that I'm not crazy. And something did indeed
That's
happen.
very typical. Very typical.
And as I literally, in the instructions I gave her, I said, you are in control at any time. You can leave this at any moment you wish. And we got there. We just got started, and I took her back to that night. She recollected everything. She brought to me, and then all of a sudden, she stopped talking. She saw what happened and stopped talking and came out of it just like that. She's like, I know exactly what I needed to know. It's exactly what I thought. I didn't want to know what they did to me. I just wanted to know I wasn't crazy.
Right.
And she had been abducted. Her and her husband-to-be had been abducted. Both of them had been.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It was the craziest thing.
Put Nikki's thing up there. Nikki's feeding us with some more information of her life.
Okay, here is my experience information from last year. The human mother is implanted within a fertilized egg. It grows in the female host for 3 to 4 months. Then the ETs abduct the human female host. The baby is removed, placed in jelly sack or jelly container where they grow. The baby grows for another 3 months and is birthed. Then within hours of baby being birthed, the mother is reabducted, placed in a circadian rhythm mother-baby rocking chair. Mother must rock baby because baby must feel and it cuts off the circadian rhythm.
Right down below.
What's that?
You could keep going down to finish it.
Oh, when they do this to me, I want to hack the ETs to ribbons with a hatchet because I'm never allowed to spend any other time with my babies. They piss me off. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are very, very upset and hostile.
So this is something you've heard before.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So then where are these children kept? Here on Earth or
no, elsewhere.
Wow,
elsewhere.
That is just, I mean, that's
fucked up.
Guys.
Usually on the mothership.
Your mind.
Say that again, Jim.
Usually on a mothership or another planet.
Yeah, because they could be colonizing or
colonizing.
There we go. I rubbed off on you.
You did.
Another planet. I mean, now let's use that for a second because there are theories and stories of that. That's how this planet was colonized.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Off-world, Robert says.
Wow. So, guys, we've been talking about that a lot, and I want to kind of move on to another part of this book because we have been. Can you imagine a little Teddy? No, you don't want to see a little one of me running around. Trust me. You don't.
Wouldn't look like you.
Oh, that's a good thing. Well, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on. Guys, if you have questions, please put them in here because that's why these gentlemen are here.
Yes, please ask
and
away.
Nikki, I do want to say thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you
your
for
story.
sharing,
I mean,
yes.
that's
really hard.
Bob and Jim, do you know Nikki?
I do not.
But do you now?
Well, maybe Nikki should contact you guys. Maybe you guys should have a conversation with her. Maybe she has some information.
Always welcome to. Always welcome to.
I mean, let's connect the dot here.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Bob from Eric.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna do about another minute here. I'm gonna read a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to like I said,
She has 10 hybrid children. Holy
10 hybrid
cats.
children. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay.
So information from abduction reports giving markers for people who may have experienced an abduction event. after reading that title with a somewhat warped sense of humor, see, I love these guys the way they write.
Yeah, this is awesome.
We envisioned the old David Letterman show and the top 10 skits he used to do.
Oh my God.
How about the top 10 signs of what you may have?
Oh, can I read that?
Yeah, of what you have. Yeah. So
the top 10 signs that you may have been abducted.
Right.
Number 10. Gray is not your favorite color. I hate them.
But there you go.
Yeah, gray has never been one of my favorite colors. Like, I have friends that are like, oh my God, don't you just love this? I'm like, no, it's fucking ugly.
Yeah, gray is, yeah.
Okay. Number 9. Your frequent flyer miles are mostly outside our atmosphere.
That's why I love these. Their humor is amazing.
Yes, this is
I love it.
Number 8. You think it's normal to see a UFO once a week.
Dog-faced Godzilla, maybe.
Right. That's fantastic. Okay, number 7. The buzzing in your head makes the neighborhood dogs bark when you get near them. Oh my God. Oh, this is fantastic. It's even better when so if Teddy read it, he would laugh, but it's better because I haven't read it.
I know.
Number 6. You wake up with your neighbor's underwear on and everybody wants to know why.
That has happened.
Especially if it was a male and he's got his neighbor's thongs on.
Oh my God. That's why I love
raider,
but see,
right?
but now you're understanding why I'm enjoying reading this book.
God, this is
because this
amazing.
is a fantastic book. I love this book.
Number 5. Your implant makes the metal detector at the county building go off. Being strip searched is getting old. You guys
Depends
are
on who's strip
hysterically
searching
funny.
you,
Right,
to be honest.
True. I mean,
It depends on who's strip searching you.
Okay. Number 4. You got slivers from the last time you were abducted through the wall.
What?
Please, no more slivers. Number 3.
Wait a minute. Number 6. Read that one again. Read number 6 again.
Read that one again, Cindy, with number 6. Number 6. You wake up with your neighbor's underwear on and everybody wants to know why. That's fantastic. Okay. Number 3. You have 27 watches that all stopped at the same time. Dude.
Yep.
Number 2. Your car is so magnetic that all the tools in the garage are stuck to it. Oh God, this is hysterical. Number 1. Your next door neighbor asks you to stop with the 3 a.m. light show with the 40-foot UFO lawn ornament. Yeah, that might get a little like, maybe you should stop doing that.
So, Guy
and I have been together for a long time, and sometimes we get a little warped.
Oh, well,
It's hysterical and phenomenal.
I think this is something that I mean, you got to have a
amazing.
little humor in some of the stuff that's serious, because if you're just completely just always on the I don't know, whether it be negative or whether it be just, trying to find out as much information, if you don't have a break somewhere in there, you're going to go crazy. And this is awesome. So guys, one more time. I mean, we have it written in the thing there, but it's Alien Abduction, The Control Factor, by Jim Bouke and Bob Long. And, I said his name wrong again. Did I? I'm sorry.
He gets that a lot.
Nikki Jacobs just put it here. FYI, found out from a government guy that ET human babies born on ET ships are called hybrids, and that ET human babies born on Earth are called
humbrids.
I've never heard that.
Never heard that.
Wow.
How do they know that they are? How do they know? How does the government know that we have hybrids?
The government knows a lot of things that they don't want us to know. They know.
And they said Snowden was a traitor for bringing information to us, even though it was illegal and it was found illegal.
I'm going to read it.
But yet they keep information like this.
I'm going to read this one.
They're slowly coming out with it, though. I mean, you got the Pentagon and the CIA.
Yeah, Navy, CIA. I mean, there's enough of them. I mean, we're going to discuss that anyway, starting with Project Blue Book, and we'll get to all that in a little bit. But I want to read this because I find this amazing. Just another amazing little read, and which makes perfect sense. And then we're going to take a short commercial break. But it says, another person who shall remain nameless once said to me, Bob, so we know Bob wrote this, I've never seen a UFO, and I wish one would just come down and hover right over top of us. Well, I could get a good look at it. So Jim's already laughing. So, all right. Let's see. I reminded him that if one were to be right over top of us, the chance of getting to see the inside of it would be very good. If he wanted to see the inside of the damn thing, fine. I, however, did not want to see the inside of one, and I begged him not to make wishes like that while I was standing next to him. No.
Tell him who the dummy was that said that, Bob.
Since then, being a UFO, he can't remember if he saw the inside of it or not.
I can help him remember.
That was you, Jim?
Jim, we help you remember.
We were doing a Skywatch one night, and it was like, what, 4 a.m?
Yeah, something like that, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
I wish one would hover right over our head so I could get a good look at it. No, you don't, Jim.
No, Jim. No. Take your words back because I'm with you and I don't want to see it.
You want to see the inside? Fine. Not me. No.
You need to make a little
too many stories.
God, they'd be hysterical. The cartoon.
That's hysterical.
Okay, guys, so we're going to ask you guys to hold on for just a second. We are going to...
What? Look at what this says. So hang on one second.
Okay. All right,
Nikki says, because the government is part of it.
That's true.
Eric says the government knows a lot of stuff deemed a threat to national security.
That's what we're always told.
Mm-hmm. And
Farmer.
Ray says, I had a sister move from behind my head as they found a small fragment of metal, not of earth, as they were doing examination on it was moving into 2012.
Meaning it was probably removed in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks say that it happens to them like when they're just want to say something. Oh, geez, no way.
Yeah.
Then something comes by and you
wish you didn't see it.
I wish I didn't see that.
Yep. Had that happen, huge mothership, 3 NFL field football fields in size, hovering over trees, 2019, mountains of Washington State, USA.
Who shit?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so we're going to take a short break. Guys, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Mr. John is here. We are at the studio, so you guys will get the opportunity to see him and hopefully talk to him real quick. Well, at least talk with him.
Yeah. Because he doesn't like to be on camera, but he has a very schmexy voice.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back, guys.
Hey.
Working all day, all night, 네가 말한 대로 나는 될 거야, rap star. Working for bills, 더 늘어나는 팀, 네가 싫어하던 게 늘어나.
Paratalk Radio is a member of radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE DB Radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Hey, okay. Now we are back. We are talking with
Jim and Bob of he took it. What are you doing?
Well, I took this thing. We're talking to these two
go.
gentlemen. There we go. Bob's got one. Come on, Jim. Where's Jim? Come on, catch up. There you go.
Perfect. Jim Bouke and Bob Long.
Yep. So we are talking about their book, which
This is fascinating. I love your guys' sense of humor,
Yeah.
and I love that we can pick up on it in the book as we read as well.
Right.
It's one of my favorites when an author or authors have a great sense of humor and it comes through in their writing.
Agreed. So, I want to kind of go into a couple other things.
Okay, chapter 9.
Yep.
UFOs and their occupants are really visiting us.
And why?
Why?
So, going along. So, one of the reasons I did this way is I wanted to prove to them first that I was reading their book. Second was that I really do like the book. So,
yeah,
and I've always been interested in the UFO stuff, but unfortunately, my life, because of where I am in New York, most of it has been paranormal or Bigfoot. I mean, like ghosts are, and I'm doing one now with poltergeist. I'm doing a case right now with poltergeist and Bigfoot. So, unfortunately, we don't get a lot of UFOs where I am. I mean, we do have lots of cows. I don't know any of them are missing, but I'm not going to stand out there and count them all, just in case. But I kind of want to read this. This is very cool. It says, the Mutual UFO Network, with MUFON, the largest privately funded UFO research organization in the world, tells the Huffington Post, which I don't know how, what's the word I'm looking for? Reputable the Huffington Post is, but we've gotten stuff from there before and it was kind of, off the wall. But anyways, that more people than ever have reported seeing identified flying objects, mostly in the United States and Canada. Over the past year, we've been averaging 500 sighting reports a month compared to about 300 3 years ago, which is an increase of 67%.
Wow.
And this came from MUFON International Director Clifford. Cliff, what? Why would they name that kid that? Why would they name that kid that? But anyways, UFO sighting reports, according to the multiple surveys over the last several decades, and from different countries, 5 to 7% of people have been a UFO or have seen a UFO. Sorry, can't see. And 10 to 15% know someone that has seen a UFO, and at least several 100,000 estimated UFO sightings have been documented over the last 50 years. And the total number of UFO sightings is estimated to be in the millions. At least several thousand sightings are reported each year.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there as a plain statistic, so people understand. Well, let's see. We just know just from our own being in this field and researching the unknown. Anyways, we know people all the time that say weird things, and just a year and a half ago, it was all the lights over on Lake Ontario.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that's
so
that's what. Look at this is what.
Ever since that night in June of 2006, it's been a total nightmare during my trip up in northern Minnesota during a 30-day fishing trip to Portage Lake. So, are these figures just about right then? I mean, do you guys obviously believe this, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, the average person doesn't hear it.
Right.
Unless you're looking at the statistics, you're never going to know this stuff is happening all the time.
Right.
So would you agree with what's on your screen? Minnesota and Wisconsin are a hotbed for activities.
They have been.
Interesting.
You know, there are lots of areas. The Hudson River Valley in New York was crazy all through the 90s.
Wow. Nikki Jacobs, have your guests found that there are seasons to women being abducted for implantation?
I don't know any.
I can't say that it's ever come up in the statistics.
Well, that's something to look into now.
Right.
That might get you in book, gentlemen.
I mean, if you think of it this way, I mean, cyclical kind of events where you're noticing women being abducted more often at certain times. That's a great question, Nikki.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, I can actually associate that to the Bigfoot thing because of the migration of Bigfoot and because from season to season, and you know, the theory of mating and all that other stuff. I mean, why not? I mean,
also you want to keep in mind the fact that there are probably hundreds of thousands of people that have been abducted, men, women, and gone through their whole life without ever knowing it.
Right. That's true. Plus the ones that just don't want to say anything because they don't want to be known as a crazy.
Right.
You know, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they may think it's a dream or they just don't think it's real. So they don't, you know.
Many associated with being a dream. They'll refer to them as dreams, and they like to use the term dreams because it's safer.
Right.
Dreams aren't real.
We had this discussion.
Yeah, I was just going to say something.
Because you remember, so Teddy said to me, because I said, I don't talk about it very often. And I really don't talk about it. But I've had several dreams where I know that I've been abducted. I know that I have. I don't talk about it. I don't remember anything, and I like it that way, right? I know that my daughter has been abducted, and I told them that they were not allowed to take me or my daughter since we were younger. Both of us were younger, because they basically terrified my daughter, and it stunted her. Like, she started wetting the bed again. She couldn't do her ABCs. She couldn't count. She couldn't do any of the stuff that she had been doing for quite some time.
So it affected a lot of her general.
It really did. So I forbid them to come. I do remember a very specific dream that Jessica and I were in this house, and we were watching the woods, and we knew that the ship was there. We knew that they were coming, and I knew that we were going to be abducted again. And Teddy, I told you about this, and what did you say to me?
God, I don't remember.
He said, how do you know it wasn't just a dream?
Oh,
I
yeah.
Because you just know. Anybody can say it's just a dream, but those who know that it's not a dream, they know it was not a dream. It doesn't matter if they remember anything else. It's just the truth. They know it's the truth, and you can't make them believe anything differently.
You know how to tell?
Tell me.
Tell if it's a dream or not. Your subconscious mind takes everything at face value. When you're in REM sleep and your mind it's playtime. Okay. Everything that happens in your dream is accepted as the way it really is. When someone is trying to discern if they're having a dream or having a memory of an abduction, I'll ask them, I said, was your room that you're sleeping in, was it exactly as it is now? Was it the same color, the same layout? If it was a different house, and the windows were differently, and there was a giraffe in the corner and a clown on the other side, which is, if that's not the way it normally is, chances are it was a dream, because your mind is accepting everything as it is. But if you are having a dream and everything is exactly as it normally is in your everyday life with no distortions whatsoever, except there's three little gray guys with black almond eyes in your room, chances are it's not a dream.
So I I would not look at them. It was just something I knew. So I dream differently than most people. And I know that everything I dream, I can remember the wood structure of the house. I can remember the woods. This is vivid. I can see the colors of it. I can remember standing there holding my daughter in front of the windows going, "You're not allowed to take us." I remember all of this. It was not our house. We were in the woods. I can see every needle on every tree that was there. I can remember the distinctive color of the bark on the tree.
But it wasn't your house?
It was not my house. I was not at my house. But I know this place because I'd been there before.
Okay. Is it any chance that you were taken there?
Oh, probably. But not necessarily in physically.
Okay.
Like, we didn't wake up one day going, "Where are we?" No. I know my daughter and I have been taken several times.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay. You're a medium.
Yes.
You've been that way your entire life.
Yes, but I didn't know until I was in my early 20s.
Right. Okay.
I knew I was weird.
Were one of your parents gifted?
So we used to tease my mom when we were younger. So I always had dreams. My dreams would come true. I remember doing this when I was younger. I could remember the phone hanging on the wall and going, "Oh, Mom, grab the phone." And she's like, "The phone didn't ring." I said, "Well, Grandma's on the phone." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And all of a sudden the phone rings. She goes, "You're freaking me out."
I've done that.
I can remember these things. And I was a teenager. The thing is we used to tell my mom, "Do you have eyes in the back of your head?" Because she would always know what we were doing without knowing.
All moms do.
And so we really always thought that. And yes, do I think that my mom has gifts? Yes, I do. Do I think my siblings have gifts? Yes, I do. Do I think my grandmother had gifts? Yes, I do. And this is something that was crazy is one of my aunts told me, she said, "Do you know that they abduct in the bloodline?" I said, "What?" She said, "Do you know they abduct in the bloodline?" I said, "Well, I don't like that because that means somebody else has been abducted in the bloodline." She says, "You're right."
If you've been abducted, chances are your parents were, and chances are your children will.
I do know somebody that in my family was abducted.
So there's a possibility that what you're saying is true.
Absolutely.
So and what do we say here at Paratalk Radio? With every story, there's an ounce of truth.
Well, I know it's more than an ounce of goddamn truth.
I'm just saying.
The theory that I'm working on is that because you are gifted is what allows the abduction to take place. I think it's very, very important to separate here. Just because you're gifted does not make you an abductee. Okay. But it is one of the prerequisites to being abducted. I learned this years ago at the symposiums that we would go to. Of course, a lot of abductees would flock to these symposiums, and you get to talk to a lot of people in group sessions. And one of the things that I discovered is every one of them was gifted in some way. In fact, at these symposiums, after hours, it's usually one or two rooms full of abductees, and usually someone such as myself gets invited up, and we all hang together. And story after story after story after story of people being gifted, being clairvoyant, having ESP, or whatever you want to call it. And it seems to be the one thing that they all have in common, and it's because their brain is wired a little bit differently, and that's what allows them to either be communicated with during the abduction or controlled during the abduction.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I believe that. I know one time, and the reason that I forbid it is because they paralyzed me. I was fully consciously aware. They took Jessica, and I was pissed because I couldn't move. I was in my own bed. Jessica had been in her bed. I was pissed that they took Jessica, and they did not allow me to move. They literally had me there, and I was consciously aware of what was going on, and I couldn't move my body.
You could move your eyes though.
Oh, definitely my eyes. That was the only thing I could move. I was pissed. I was so mad.
They've tapped into the ability during REM sleep. You're paralyzed except for your eyes.
Yeah, no.
Okay? Our brain paralyzes us so we don't try and act out our dreams and hurt ourselves by running wildly around the house. I think they've tapped into that same physiological system within us and turn that on, so we are paralyzed like we were dreaming when we're awake. Everybody reports that they can move their eyes, but they can't move anything else.
I couldn't move anything else, only my eyes.
Anger seems to be one of the things that they really have a hard time dealing with.
I was pissed.
Rightly so. I mean, there's nothing that's more heart-wrenching than a parent that can't control the situation when their son or daughter is being abducted.
I was screaming so loud in my head, and I knew that they could hear me.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that they could hear me. I was using every expletive that, listen, and I know a lot of them.
I know you do.
I know.
A lot of them. Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Driver.
I'm sorry, Bob. What was that?
What happened?
They brought her back.
They did bring her back.
Was
there missing time involved?
I'm not certain, to be honest, because it seemed like it was very fast for me. It felt like forever that I was paralyzed. So I don't know. I'm not cognizant of it. It felt like forever, but I know it wasn't forever.
This is interesting.
But I was pissed, and I know that I forbid them. I'm like, bring my daughter back. Now I was screaming in my head at them.
I just want to kind of interrupt here and put Nikki Jacobs put this up here. She goes, "Hey, way to get off those freaking ships. Tell the ETs you got to pee. No joke. They hate when you're on
Miracle.
Okay, guys, there you go.
I like it.
There's some good advice. Well, I promised you guys that when just before we went to break that I wanted to bring up a couple of the UFO studies that was going on, and we had talked briefly, or I mentioned it briefly, about Project Blue Book. Oh my God, that's my.
It's so funny because I'm literally seeing that whole dream again.
Well,
it's freaking me out.
Sorry.
I can see the lights. I can see how lit up everything. Oh God, it's freaking me out right now.
Okay, so we're going to change the subject here for you. So UFO studies, the following are some major studies undertaken during the past 50 years and reported on identified UFOs. The first one was Project Blue Book, Special Report number 14, referred to further below as BBCR or SR, was a massive strategical study of 3,000 UFO cases between 1952 and 1954. Let me just say,
how many?
3,200.
That's a lot.
Between 2 years. That's a lot.
That sounds like a lot.
It says here.
What drives me crazy is they don't blink an eye at what we're saying. Like, they're like, yeah.
Okay.
They're like, okay, I'm just listening to what you're saying because we've written it, so we already know this. But they have no reaction, and me, I'm like, holy shitballs, and they're just like, yep, okay.
All right. So, anyways, it goes on. It says 3,200 UFO cases between 1952 and 1954 that the Battelle Memorial Institute did for the U.S. Air Force. Of these, 22% remained and were classified as unidentified true UFOs. Another 69% were deemed identified IFOs. There was insufficient information to make and determined in the remaining 9%.
So IFOs would be identified flying objects?
Right.
Okay.
Many people see things that they don't understand. Anything, anywhere from, atmospheric conditions like sundogs or something like that, to just misidentification of aircraft or balloons.
Okay.
And usually they'll try to find a reasonable explanation for what they're seeing because they don't want to believe it.
Right. Okay. All right. So the next one here, we have the official French government UFO investigation, run within the French space agency CNES between 1977 and 2004, scientifically investigated about 6,000 cases and found that 13% defied any rational explanation of UFOs, while 46% were deemed readily identifiable.
Identifiable.
And 41% lacks insufficient information.
Lacked sufficient information.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
That's
so
for
it's
classification.
right. So that's still, I mean, from 77 to 2004, 6,000 cases that they broke down into a percentage of what was identifiable to. Forgive me, tongue in front of the ITs, can't see what I'm saying, to being something that was unidentified. So you're talking 77 to 2004. The next one is the USAF, which is the United States Air Force sponsored Condon Committee study reports that all 117 cases studied were or could possibly be explained. 1971 review of the results by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics concluded that 30% of the 117 cases remained unexplainable. Now,
crazy.
still 30% of 117 is still pretty good. It's pretty
more
big.
Than 30.
That's a higher number. Oh, yeah. So you're talking probably 40, 45, 47, 48 cases out of that. Next one here is about 5,000 cases submitted to and studied by the civilian UFO organization NICAP or NICAP. 16% were judged to be unknowns.
That's crazy.
So, it's amazing to find that, and I'm that through even MUFON, they have a pretty strategic way of identifying, whether this is the real UFOs or something that could be identified as a like an aircraft or something like that. I think they're all, it's not like a real training course, is it? It's like something that you guys.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, actually, MUFON has what they call a university now, where Bob and I used to take parts in it, where we actually had training classes. And now, to become a MUFON member, you have to go through some of the training. In fact, you even take a test.
Wow.
In order to qualify.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I want to catch up on some of these comments that we have. So, what about Peter Davenport, National UFO Reporting Center for Reporting UFOs? Have they heard of him? Thoughts? Have you guys heard of him?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've gotten a lot of good information from him over the years.
I've gotten some bad information from him, too.
Well, he doesn't necessarily investigate the sightings, but he compiles the sightings.
I get it.
So
it gives you the information. He doesn't really investigate it.
He has a mass quantity of sightings, and you got to kind of sort through them and find out what's viable and what isn't. But it's still, a lot of people have reported their sightings to him, as well as MUFON, and some people go here, some people go there to report the stuff.
He's got a lot of information. Unfortunately, if you're an investigator and you want to get some information from him to help you in one of your investigations, he's not very freely given.
Interesting. Nikki says, have you guys heard about the ETs known as Lyrans and Laborians? Any reports of them in your information?
I can't say that I have The vast majority of the stuff that I have dealt with has been grays. A few of the insectoids, one reptilian, a couple of the tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed type. But no, I can't say it.
Nice.
Yeah, the Nordics. Thank you.
Norax, is that what you're calling them?
Nordics.
Nordics.
Sort of like they were from a Nordic country.
Yeah.
Fair skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, very tall.
Wow, cool.
Okay.
Well, we're going to be covering this subject again next Monday.
Oh, really?
We have MUFON Director Mike Panicello.
Oh, that's interesting, Robert.
He will be joining us as well. He's from Cincinnati, I believe.
Interesting. Humans have soul contracts with ETs. You can break those damn contracts, but it's super hard to do. Have you guys heard about this as well?
Yeah, they're told that they signed a contract, so to speak, with them long ago,
right?
And that you agreed to the abductions and for the good of the human race, for whatever that is. Abductees over the years have been shown all kinds of things, like movies, so to speak, of cataclysmic disasters, and that the human race has to be saved, and that kind of giving a premise of that's why they're doing this. I also think they lie repeatedly.
Sounds like manipulation.
Yeah.
But obviously I did believe that at some point there because when I was in that state, I revoked it. I said, you are not allowed to take me or my daughter. I literally understood that as that was happening.
Yeah. They try to avoid people who are angry. They try to avoid drunks too.
Really?
That's interesting.
Maybe we'll stay drunk.
No.
Okay.
My father probably, that's why they stayed away from him. He's like, not funny. Anyway.
I want to throw in here real quick. It says the Mutual UFO Network states that 90% of all UFO sightings go unreported and that only 10% of the people are compelled to report their sightings.
I would believe that because I would know. I it's only because I'm doing a show like this that I have talked about this. That's it.
I mean,
this isn't like something I would tell you that I even talked to you about before they came up.
You love me that much.
No. But it's
just kidding.
I don't talk about it.
I want to say something here before. I mean, because we've only got about a half hour left, 25 minutes left. I just want to say that I really, really appreciate the work that you guys have put into this book and everything that the humor and all the statistics and stuff like that. You guys obviously did a lot of research and a lot of work, and I really enjoy this book. And I'm telling you, people, that you were sitting here watching these two gentlemen with us, and we're talking about their book, and it's called The Alien Abduction, The Control Factor. You need to buy this book. Basically, it gives you so much information about stuff that you might not even be aware of. It opens up your mind. And there's humor in there, which help you, laugh through some of the stuff that could be serious for, or make you cuckoo. But, it's written very well. It's a very good. I love the book. It's going around on my shelf after you're done reading it.
I'm
coming back to me,
to say.
And I'm putting a sticker on it that says "Approval by Teddy."
There's also we discuss ways of trying to end an abduction or prevent one. So we've got a good sized chapter in there discussing the many ways.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I've gotten there yet.
You will.
I love this line because they said this earlier.
Interesting. He said he felt like he was being watched. See that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel that way all the time in my house.
Yeah. That makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah. Most alien abductions are done without any choice and without permission. After being abducted so many times, some people have come to accept it as a way of life in that there is no way to stop it. So they just bear it. Those who don't want it to happen have just a little choice about it. It will still happen, and very little has come to light to stop it. The reason for this is that We lack the knowledge of what is happening. Not enough scientific minds are focusing on the issue to provide answers. We are attempting to explain how it is happening and what we can do about it. That's what I like about this. We do know that people have been reporting events of missing time, and during that missing time, they are being used for reasons we do not truly understand. With almost 60 years of abduction accounts piling up, we know the basis. Humans are taken, fertile cells are removed from various methods, by various methods. Some people are implanted with objects, and some people are employed to help abduct others. Some abductees have been shown the result of the reproductive cell harvesting, childlike hybrids that look like a cross between us and them, but very sickly looking with only the wisp of hair. Then they are told that they are the parent of that childlike creature and are urged to hold and show affection towards the child. Touching of the child is very important to it surviving, and we'll briefly mention this aspect later. Now, one of the things I'm going to bring up, doing the research that we have over the years and knowing, especially in psychology, with you, Miss Psychology, I'm just a plain layman, I mean, with this stuff, but I've done a lot of research on my own, and we do know through science and through the observation of people and humans that when you have a child, it's very important for humans to have contact for survival.
Right.
It's not something that we can do.
And they have proven that babies that cannot make
sometimes
that bonding,
taking a baby that is dying or is not doing well, if you hold it up to your chest, especially the bare skin, putting it up there can make that, it's like love, it's like just the human contact can revive that child in some sense.
But they have proven that babies that do not bond well with their mother, even human babies, they have proven that there's this total lack of emotion, lack of empathy.
Right.
They can't.
And that goes back to the root of emotions within a human being. Our emotions run so deep, being an animal, but being a thinking animal, that the emotions that we have are very deeply rooted, and they actually mean more, as in touch or sleeping or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Our emotions do rule our lives in some sense. So.
And that's not something that aliens like and prefer.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
they do not like that we are emotional. Hence the reason that when I got pissed.
I think that if they have evolved themselves from something similar to us, then they don't need it. So that's why they got rid of it.
I didn't cry though. I remember I didn't cry. I was so angry, and I was demanding. It wasn't
they
just
can't even understand why we have emotions.
No, they don't understand that. I agree. Because I literally felt like they were just looking at me like, why is she doing this? What does it matter? That's they couldn't understand why I was so angry that they were paralyzing me, and yet that I would be so goddamn angry that they took my child without my permission.
But see, that's something like I was just saying. They have no need for it. They have no use for it.
Right.
So
it is because
it's a part of them that is gone. They don't understand that I'm sorry.
Maybe they never had it.
No, I don't think they had it. I think they're trying to cultivate that, to be honest, right?
They're learning from us.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch up a little bit again. Exactly. I tell you, you're going to pee all over their ship. They will return you home, but they will escort you to the bathroom and back to their ship. But it will at least get you off the ship. Hopefully enough to grab something to defend yourself. Don't just think it, because once that crosses your mind, they will control you even further. They hate dealing with pee. So just pee all over the place. Hi, Michelle.
Yeah, hello, Michelle.
Next day, the resort owner saw me, asked me, "You seen them, didn't you?" I said, "Gray alien." He's seen it also. He said it's not the only time.
See, it's amazing with the people that we know ourselves that watch the show that actually come out and volunteer information that didn't know.
Missing instruction and rule book.
Yeah, I love that. The human race, we didn't come with instructions. It's like everything else in life. I mean, life does not come with instructions. We're pretty much, controlled anyways. We're told that we need to do this, do that, do this, do that,
We
and
have
that's
to be
the way we
perfect.
are raised. I mean,
Right.
each environment's different, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we covered that in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
she did.
yeah.
There needs to
Control
be
right from the beginning.
psychologists
Exactly.
and psychiatrists who deal with personal victims and survivors, especially for ET.
I want to know why the
You got
scientists
ghosts there, Ted. No. I've told Teddy that I felt alien energy there.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
I
So
said I don't like it. It freaks me out.
yeah, I've got some shit going on, but why do you believe that the scientists that we have in our world and these people that have the ability
The
to
title of the book is right down there. It's scrolling. Alien Abduction: The Control Factor by Jim
Is it
Bouke
pinned?
and Robert Long. We can't pin it in here.
All right, so yeah, it's right on the bottom of the scrolling going by.
It's scrolling by me.
Yeah. So why do you think that we're not interested? Like the people in charge, the physicians and psychologists and all these people aren't interested in doing the research to find out.
They
Some
are interested.
Some are, but most aren't.
And they waste the time or what?
Try and get funding for doing research like that.
And government being their hands in everything, that's something they want to keep to themselves.
Yeah, right.
Well, also, they don't want us to know what they know.
Now, is this true? Do you really think it's fact that it's because of mass hysteria, because they don't want public freaking out, about all this stuff? I don't either.
I think that was Orson Welles, but my opinion basically is that here you've got these crafts with entities in it, flying all over the country, all over the world, stopping off at places, abducting people, doing different things to them. And our government cannot do a single thing to stop them.
Right.
Do you want them to say, oh yeah, we've given them carte blanche?
Right.
Thank you, Robert.
So Icky says, have you guys have any reports of abductees having ET tracking devices in a human aura as well as inside the body?
Yeah.
Well, as I was alluding to earlier, when you have a gift, when you're gifted, you have a connection.
Mm-hmm.
You alluded to, you knew that UFO was out in the woods, even though you didn't see it. You knew it was there because there was a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they were showing me something. So why I was seeing that everything was illuminated and I could see it because it was right above me. It was
a number of people that I've worked with have experienced something I call being out of place. Probably the most unusual one was one of the people I was working with had reason to travel to England. And while they were in England, they had not an abduction, but they had a visitation. And I got a call. It was 3 a.m. there when they called me and said, "Oh my God, they were just here." But they just stopped in, saw that I was here, and then left. And it was a case of somewhere along the line they were being tracked, and they said, "Well, they can't be there. That's another continent. They have to be here." So they stopped in to see if they were actually there or not. An abduction didn't occur, but it was a case of the person was still awake, wasn't asleep at the time, was having trouble sleeping, being away from home. And when the visitation happened, and as they reported, the person reported, they were both seemingly shocked to find both of them there. Both the gray was shocked to find this person there. This person was shocked to see the gray in their room. But I'll give you another, for instance, I thought was kind of interesting. During the symposiums, as I said before, you get a number of people that have abduction experiences.
Yes.
I've noticed that some of the rooms, the clocks are blinking in the morning, like they had a power failure.
Oh my
God. And I'll ask the wait staff, the maids, did you guys have a power failure last night? And say, no, everything was fine. And I said, well, this room and that room has the clock on the side of the bed blinking like it'd been unplugged. And the maid goes, oh yeah, that happens quite a bit.
That's crazy.
It is.
So
one of the symposiums we went to, there was an abduction there, and the woman that was abducted was nowhere near her home. In fact, many states away. You remember that one, Bob?
Yeah.
This is crazy. I mean,
wait, so what was so she was abducted in one state and found several states away?
No. She's
normally
traveled.
abducted in her home state, but this time she went to a symposium. Which was, what was she from? Michigan? Was that the one?
I think it was, yeah.
And abducted in St. Louis. So they tracked her from there, one place to another.
Interesting.
So I'm going to ask now, this is because this is an experience that I've had, and we're just going to throw that out there. Now, there's a lot of theories. There's a couple theories, and we're probably going to run over, but I hope not. I remember pretty vividly when I was probably 12 years old. My uncle and I were on a tractor. We were going up the road, and we had to climb up this hill to, on the road. And there was a house to the left. And on this house, at this house, it was always empty. I mean, it was the creepiest little house. And the tractor died when we got right in front of it, right in front of the house.
That's creepy.
And this guy walked through the door, like through the door.
Oh, I remember you telling me.
Yes.
Okay,
Came to the tractor, invited us some iced tea.
Yep. Nope.
We said no. He went back to the door. The tractor started up, and we headed back to where we were headed, to the field to plow. As we're plowing,
Bargain creepy. Okay.
as we're plowing, I needed to get off because I had to go pee. So he's plowing. I'm standing on the edge of where the road and the little 3-foot section is, where the piping is and stuff to the field. And I'm watching him as he's plowing. I see a UFO go right in the direction of that home. Isn't that creepy?
That's creepy.
So I had always thought, is there a connection
Well, what?
from maybe a hunt or something that we saw to the tractor stopping? Why would the tractor stop?
Because that's one of the things that happen in a UFO case.
Ta-da! And then all of a sudden, I mean, but this guy comes through the wall, goes through the door. I mean, and then offers us lemonade and then disappears back when we tell him no. I mean, come on, there's a lot of weird stories, but do you guys make anything of that?
Yeah.
This happened a lot.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have asked that question.
I believed that. So Teddy does not like to think about this as being an experience with alien.
Okay, first off, it may not be. It may not be. But let me give you a story of one I had investigated. This woman had gone to pick up her son from an after school class, and it normally takes them like 15 minutes to get home from the school. Well, they saw this thing in the sky, and they got closer and closer, and it hovered over the road, and it was in the shape of a delta, and she figured it was like 300 feet across.
Ooh.
And suddenly she got very scared and loaded the child in the car and sped down the road at a high rate of speed. What was really weird is on the way to her house, there was a salvage yard there. And of course, this was now after hours, so they would be closed, but there were two cars stacked on top of one another on fire out by the road.
Weird.
Okay. And she thought that was highly unusual.
Well, yeah.
But she got home and realized that the 15-minute trip had taken them almost 2 hours.
Wow.
And I talked to the owner of the salvage yard, and of course, he knew nothing about 2 burning cars outside the gate. And what they actually saw, either they in their own head made it this 2 burning cars, or they were made to see this, was some kind of a landing craft, and they were taken.
Yes.
Okay. People have seen dead relatives show up to abduct them. They've seen whatever works, whatever is going to make that person comply as easily as possible, or keep them from getting upset. Because as we've talked about, they don't like people being upset. That makes them harder to control.
Right.
And quite often, as you know, we were talking earlier, when you get upset, sometimes if you get mad enough, you can break out of that paralysis. And if you break out of that paralysis, now you're a wild animal that's capable of hurting them.
Right.
But anger will do it.
They don't want me.
No, in those moments, I swear to God, if they had taken it off, I would have been a rabid dog ready to tear them
So
apart.
are we saying? No, wait a minute. I got to stop this for a moment, because are we saying that there's a possibility that the both of us sitting here at this table right now have been abducted?
I know that I have.
Do you find that amazing to believe that you're both in this type of mind frame?
No.
Working together?
No.
Well, I've always put it because we have a lot more in common than most people know.
Right.
A
lot more in common. I mean, we're both from the pagan culture. We both
had fathers that were misogynistic.
And we both have
womanizer
and we both have psychic abilities in some way, shape, or form. We are both in the same field. We act like we've known each other our whole lives.
Right.
He's smiling. Bob is smiling. I don't like that.
And this is the thing. This is what Teddy said. If he were not gay,
we would be together.
He would be with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
We have seen people meet at the conventions or at the symposiums who don't know each other, and it's like they have bumped into a long lost relative, and they don't know why.
I just got all over my body, Bob, and that means the truth has been spoken.
Hello. Me too.
Yeah.
But we all have. I mean, we've always had a connection. We've always felt like we've known each other for.
And the first time we met was because
of an
investigation. The couple, the husband and the couple knew me from school and knew that. And this is the thing is nobody knew in school that I was a medium because I didn't know. I did weird things. We were friends in high school.
Right.
He found out that I was a medium.
And I was always weird.
Teddy called me because he said, "Hey, my friend is a medium. Do you want to call her and see if she wants to come in on this?" And that's exactly how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've always felt like we've known each other forever.
Like we've always been very comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
You have any gifts, Ted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an empath more than anything.
Okay. So am I.
Once in a while, I get visions or pictures. Hearing, voices once in a while, but the majority of it is feeling. It's knowing whether I should or shouldn't go, or the feeling of somebody.
I'm so sick to my stomach right now. I can't even.
Some people like knowing that there was pain there, or
Yep.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of that stuff. And when Cindy was talking about the phone situation, I used to do that all the time.
So is this true? Aliens like lemons, or is
Robert being
Robert
a jerk?
just being a brat?
Don't know about lemons.
I want to read this. In June 2011, the issue of the MUFON UFO Journal, volume 518, an article by journal, blah, blah.
Where are you, honey?
Here, you read it. My microphone's now twisting.
Where were you?
Right here.
Oh, okay. In June 2011, issue of the MUFON UFO Journal, volume 518. That's weird. That's a number I see a lot.
Yeah.
An article by journal editor Janice Curry relates the event to two young boys who were, I'm laughing not because of what I'm reading, but because of Teddy right now. Relates the events of two young boys who were camping out in the field behind one of their homes in 1964. Shortly after midnight, one of the boys noticed a disc-shaped object floating over some nearby trees heading toward the house. Suddenly, a very bright light came on, and one of the boys saw a face up close.
Can't get this to tighten.
Face up close, staring into his eyes. One of the boys saw a face up close, staring into his eyes. That makes much more sense, Cindy. He thought it was his friend looking at him. The next thing he remembered, he was standing out in another part of the yard, looking at the light in the sky, leaving. Neither of the two boys talked about it because they could not remember it for 20 years. Then both of them, now adults, remembered the event almost at the same time, even though they were living hundreds of miles away. I actually think I've heard about this event.
Well,
It was. I do remember this because I remember they recreated it. I don't know if it was a movie or in a show I was watching. I know this event.
I just got it from the MUFON Journal, so I hadn't heard anything about it prior to that.
Yeah, no, I remember hearing about it as they were adults.
I just think it's amazing because it kind of just threw that at me about the whole thing with us. It's like maybe there is something to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
there's things that we don't know, obviously, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean,
don't let it freak you out.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, with the amount of shit that I've seen over the years, trust me, that's the least of freaking me out. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
My sister and myself had encountered by seeing a bluish disc in the sky many years ago and somehow lost just more than an hour of time. Amazing.
He did mention that there was something in Dansville, New York.
Yeah, he did.
That there was it's farther up in the comments that there was something that
I don't know if we'll be able to get back there.
Probably not. We can't keep up with all of them, so it's all right. But
I did put it up there.
You know, we don't have much time here, guys. In fact, we're over right now.
Here it is. Right here it is.
Where is it?
A friend of mine mentioned to me not long ago that she had seen some strange lights in the night sky in Genesee Valley in Dansville, New York,
which is like 30 minutes for me because I drive an hour to come here.
South of Rochester, right?
Right. But that's not uncommon. I mean, we've heard that. Before we go, I gotta ask these guys.
Okay.
I gotta do this because if they tell me that they side with you, I'm gonna be so pissed right now.
I know where you're going with this.
I'm gonna be so pissed.
I know where you're going with this.
So there's two of them, so we have a chance of it being a 50-50 or 100%.
Right.
Okay. Gentlemen, here's the question.
The question we are posing to you is
dum, 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 dum. All right. So anyways, the question is there any truth, or how do I want to put this?
I know you're dying. You don't want to know and you want to know.
I know. Is there any links to UFOs and aliens to Bigfoot?
Yes.
Their pet got loose.
Damn it.
What did you say, Bob?
Their pet got loose.
So you believe it too? You believe yes?
I keep telling him he does not.
I don't believe it. I don't.
I've read in a couple of actually Bigfoot books that in one case somebody had been abducted and taken to a craft somewhere out in the woods. And standing out in front of the craft was a Bigfoot standing guard.
John!
That was John putting his 2 cents in there.
That's because we're at the end, and he knows that we need to get off here.
Okay, Nikki said, but that's the Greys not wanting to deal with anger. There are other ET races that don't really care if you're angry. They just add more personnel to you as security, and they bring in what I call as specialists to deal with the section of the brain that deals with anger to put you under.
All right.
Put you under deeper.
Are we able to bring you guys back another time? Would you guys like to come back?
Absolutely.
Yes, you would?
Yeah.
Sure.
You
Yes.
guys
Oh my God, these guys are great. I'm hoping you guys had a good time with us. I really do.
Oh yeah, I did.
Had a great time.
When I saw, have we interviewed Bob before?
No,
Bob,
but
I know
Bob
you.
looks like somebody that we
I
know.
know you, though.
I know, me too.
Really,
See, Bob, it was that ship.
Bob, I really believe when you first were on here, I'm like, oh, I know him. We've interviewed
He
you
looks
before.
like somebody that I know.
And I'm like, I gotta ask Teddy if we've interviewed him before.
Imaginary Forest friends.
Yeah.
Do you go to Cookie Stringfellow's meetings?
No.
I don't
Oh.
go to their meetings. No.
Okay, say I've been to a few of them.
We do want to say to you, gentlemen, that one of the other shows on WLP, the Meet the Author show, the Carters would really like to have you on their show.
Rob and Joan Carter, seriously, come on our show too.
Give them my email address. Give them Bob's.
All right, we'll do that.
We'll be glad to.
I'm going to schedule another one with you guys, probably sooner than later, because I would like to finish the book and the discussion, because there's stuff that I haven't gotten to.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, look at this. This is interesting. Stephanie in Wisconsin seen multiple Bigfoots outside an area outside in Oneida Indian tribe, which closed down 20 square miles, and they tore down every building and destroyed the road and barricaded it and banned anybody from going in there because Bigfoot lives in there. Interesting.
Well, you know,
Barry,
guys, please get
Bob
the book.
looks like the picture on the mantle behind you guys. John Zaffis. Is that it?
Yeah, that's John.
Zaffis.
All right, so guys, get out there and purchase this book, so that when we have them back, you guys can keep up with us. Alien Abduction, The Control Factor. Bob has got Robert from Australia has got it in here on the
Yes, so you guys
comments,
can
so
go,
that you can
go
buy it.
back and look in the comments, because
Right.
you will be able to go back because he was
It
on
is
Facebook.
available on Amazon. If you look down at the scroll of the,
It is.
I'd say it's right down there as well, so you're able to.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you could probably get it from Walmart too, because
and you can get it from the publisher.
yeah. Okay, here is you.
Schiffer Books.
Christ.
Schiffer Books.
Yeah. Oh, Peter Robbins even wrote in the back of this. I know him too.
He just did that.
Okay.
Peter and I are good friends.
Oh, Peter's awesome.
Barry says, I'll be getting this book.
There you go.
Robert says, is it only in paperback or is it also available on Kindle?
No.
Only paperback at the moment.
There you go, Robert. You got to buy a book.
$33 postage of a $15 book.
Yep.
Pretty much, my friend.
Yep.
Go to Amazon.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right. Do it through Prime.
Yeah.
No cost.
It's $16.99 on Amazon.
Yeah, but he's in Australia, so I don't know what the cost would be for him.
Oh, right.
Still for shipping.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
$16 book, like he said, they're going to put postage of like $30 on it.
If they have a Barnes and Noble there or some other type of public or bookstore, they might have it there.
Yeah, go to a library and see if they can order it and how much it would cost you.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a great idea.
Or a book, some type of bookstores. Yeah.
Libraries still exist.
Yeah, libraries still exist, John.
Yes, we can go to our library.
Yeah.
We've been able to go to our library
all right,
for a
so
little
we
while.
got to get out of here because you need to get over to Dom's show.
Yes, I do.
And so, guys, Cindy is leaving us here at Paratalk Radio and going right over to
Real Talk with Dom.
Talk with Dom. So you're going to be able to go over there and visit her. Bob and Jim, amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, so the funny part is, you guys, I have always kept a light on. I've never had a dark
Motel
house.
6. We'll keep the light on for
I've
you.
never had, like, people think I'm weird that I have a night light on and I keep my bathroom light on.
But ours is at my house too.
Pretty common.
I keep a light on. And I mean, I've literally had adult men say to me, why do you need the light? Don't you fucking turn off that light. I will shank you.
That light's not going to stop them, though.
I like her.
No, but it still just helps me feel better, right?
Right. It's psychological things that people do that shit all the time to make them feel better.
When my daughter and I were still at my parents' house, because that's when a lot of that happened, I kept a night light in our bedroom too. So always had a light on.
Nice.
We got a whole basket of stuff to talk about next time.
Basket stuff. Okay.
Basket of stuff, he said.
Yeah. A basket of stuff.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do that because I'm going to reach out to you guys here probably tomorrow and we'll schedule another date immediately.
I love you guys.
Sounds good to me.
Have great energy too.
Yeah. I mean,
You're cool.
You know, Bob's been on here the longest and he put up with us right from the beginning. I mean, he deserves I don't know.
Except when I got abducted there for a couple of minutes. Gone.
We were like, he'll be back. We were like, he'll be back.
We know he'll be back. Yeah. We know that.
Took me a while just to get on.
Yes, Bob, I'm going to send you their information so that you can contact them. Yes, I will send you their information.
You need to start up the I Survived Paratalk Radio.
Yeah,
award.
we do. We do.
Stop it.
Maybe we need a T-shirt. Mail it out to all of our guests. I Survived Paratalk Radio with Ted and Cindy.
Stop it. That would insinuate that there is something wrong with us or defunct.
Where are your priorities, you stupid SpongeBob SquarePants?
But if we're fun, then people will come back, and we're not.
It's been delightful, absolutely delightful.
See, people like us.
They really like us.
They really like us.
Focus.
Thank you, Sally Fields.
Yes, we're going. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Much,
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are
rock.
amazing. Yeah, you guys are awesome.
I can't
We'll
wait.
definitely have you back. Don't forget, guys, that next Monday at 8:00 we're going to have the MUFON director from just like Culminated. They'll be back. Thanks, Robert from Australia. Go play with your birds.
Sound effects. How much have you missed those sound effects, Barry? For reals, for reals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so we have I forgot his name now. We have another gentleman going to be talking about UFOs next Monday, so make sure that you're here at 8:00. I'll put the stuff up there pretty soon. Don't forget the Doms. Real Talk with Dom is up next.
Yes. Paratalk Survivor, not cast off of Paratalk Island.
There you go. Nice.
Love it.
And don't forget, guys, that coming up in April 3rd, I think is the date, which isn't that far away.
Wait, what's April 3rd?
We have the special live broadcast of the movie review of Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, shit. That's why I couldn't do the 3rd.
It's like a week
Okay,
before
my
your
birthday party has to be on Friday then.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
Mine's
that's going to be a biggie.
What time are you doing yours?
I don't know. We'll figure it out off the air.
Well, I just need to.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. You need to get over to Dom. So
I do.
Okay.
But
all
I'm
right,
having
guys.
my 50th birthday party, so we're going to be having fun. So you guys have to come in
50.
and hang out.
I've been there long before 50.
That's true because you're old as
I am as old as dirt.
54.
Yep, I'm old as dirt,
so
folks.
crazy.
Yep. All right, so don't
funny.
forget that Cindy. Do you know what time it is?
Yes, but are we going to tell each other where we're finding?
Oh, well, hurry. You tell me what you got going on.
Tomorrow night is Teddy likes to call it Taco Tuesday. It is Tarot Tuesday for me on it is, oh my God, what is it? On Psychic Cindy on Facebook, on The Psychic Cindy on YouTube, and also Psycho Bunny Death Cult.
Yep.
You'll see me doing my tarot readings starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
And going to God knows when.
Okay.
Thursday, I have my Just Cindy podcast right here on WLFE, DB Radio, WLFE-DB.com, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10. How rude.
I'm just going to add to that, guys, if you want to check out this show and more shows from WLFE, you need to go over to WLFE-DB.com.
Yes.
We have three TV channels that run there 24 hours a day with all the same all the same content. So like the first channel is Paranormal View. It runs all paranormal stuff and horror stuff. Then you have the second channel, which is LGBTQ Friends, which is all of your LGBTQ stuff, which is great. In fact, Wednesday is Jade's show. Inside the Drag Closet. Yes. We have a new show coming on to that called Rainbow Soul that will be joining us here pretty soon. And then you can go to the third TV station called Variety Unlimited, which is
readings, etc.
Readings, people like meet the author, interviews, just normal stuff that are not on the other two topics. And but it's just gonna be a good time. And you guys will be able to see this episode replay probably about 2 hours. It takes me time to get home and reload and all that stuff on the network, but we'll get it.
Sauce.
So you'll be able to rewatch this pretty soon.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Right, so,
thank you so much, Jim and Bob.
Yeah. So all you got to WLFE-DB.com. Right on the front page, it opens up. That's where the TV channels are.
And you can even go there and start watching Dom live because he started at 10 p.m.
Make sure you hit the live button.
Live button. Yes, it's up at the top.
Yep, you have to hit the live button if you don't want to watch the scheduled stuff. Yep.
Yes.
Well, good.
Okay.
All right, Cindy.
You know it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Bob, Jim, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
You are welcome. Guys, wherever there is darkness, there's always
the light.
Yay!
Thank you for listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy. Catch us next Monday for another fantastic guest. Please check out our show as well as others on the WLFE DB Radio Network. And remember, like, follow, and share with everyone.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.